Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to today's live stream. We're going to be talking about a topic today that I think is absolutely critical to really just about any business. And yet, I don't think most small businesses are really even thinking about this very much. And if they do, I don't think they spend enough time on it. But before we get into it, while we wait on people to jump on, I wanted to share a quick little tip. So what I'm going to show you here is, well, it's just our way of asking for people to leave us reviews. So you can see we got little QR codes for both Facebook and Google. So with the pandemic, if you've been out to eat, you've probably been to a restaurant where instead of giving you a menu, they have you take a picture of a QR code and you can see their menu on their website. So the cool part about that is so many businesses, so many people now know what a QR code is. They know that if I take a picture of it, it's going to take me to a website. So we've got these on all our desks now where we're asking our clients to leave us a review on Google or Facebook. All they got to do is hold up their smartphone, take a picture of that QR code, and it takes them right to the very place they need to go to leave a review for us. And that makes it convenient. It makes it just a part of how we do business. We literally will ask everyone we come into contact with, hey, go share your experience with your friends and your family members, because the more people talk about us, the more people are going to walk through our doors. And so, hey, I'll just take this opportunity to say, if you have been served by the SBDC, why don't you leave us a review? I mean, if this was good for you, you ought to let your friends and family know it could be good for them too. So, selfish little plug for the SBDC, but it's what I do. It's what I do. My name is Rob Alexander. I'm the director of the Springfield SBDC. And I'm going to take just one more second and brag a little bit about the team that we have here in Springfield, because you may not know that this is one of the top 10 SBDCs in the country. And maybe you're like, okay, how many are there? 20? No, there's 1,000 SBDCs in the country. So to be top 10 means we are literally top 1%. My friend Eric tells me, just tell them you're the best. Okay, we're the best. We got gypped. We should have been number one. I don't even know what they were thinking. You guys, you have a treasure right here in your backyard. Very talented people who want to help your business succeed. Today, what we're going to talk about is customer loyalty. Every business has customers. I'm not going to talk about that. If you have customers, you have to do customer service. That's boring. Nobody comes to my presentations about customer service. We're not going to talk about that today. What I want to talk about is, how do you create loyal, engaged, raving fans who tell other people about your business? Listen, there's all kinds of different customers. We have just people who are straight up customers. They paid us. Great. That's what pays the bills. Hopefully, we have a lot of satisfied customers. That's the next level up. Clearly, we want to satisfy the people who are coming to us for services, for our products. What I'm going to focus on today are the levels even above that. I don't care just about satisfied customers. What I want are loyal customers, raving fans, and what I'm calling a brand champion, a brand advocate, the people who are completely sold out on your company, and they are willing to tell whoever will listen about the experience they had with your company. Now, you may be thinking, that's all, like, that's good if you're a fun business. It doesn't really apply to my business. We're kind of a boring industry. Wrong. Boring businesses still have raving fans. And I think after today, you're going to realize that that is true. But listen, don't be like most small businesses and think that this is not important. We have got to build a fan base. And that's what we call today's presentation, Fan Base. It's the small business owner's guide to customer loyalty. So in the old days, businesses, the name of the game was advertising. You were really trying to tell people what made you special, what made you better, what made you different. It was you talking to the masses and trying to convince them to buy your product. That was the old days. Today, it doesn't matter what you say about you. Look at these statistics. So 92% of people will trust word of mouth recommendations over your ads. That's 92%. That's basically like saying everybody would rather believe someone's word of mouth recommendation over your ads. So all this time you spend thinking about ads and not thinking about how do I get people talking about my business, maybe you're wasting your time. Next, 88% of consumers trust reviews just as much as personal recommendations. So it doesn't even matter if that word of mouth comes from someone you know, like a personal recommendation. It could be anybody. It could be someone clear across the country. If it's obvious that that came from a real life person, a real life customer of yours, they trust that just as much as if they knew that person very well. And then the last statistic, 88% of consumers read reviews to determine the quality of a local business. Listen, people are going to your reviews before they make decisions. Do you have them? Are they good? What are they saying? 88% of them are looking at it. Are you showing up? That's what we're going to talk about today, because today we are living in the age of the consumer. The consumers have all the power. We can't just advertise and say whatever we want about our company and expect that everyone's going to listen. We have to massage, we have to cultivate the conversation that's taking place amongst our customers, amongst the general public. That is today the name of the game. By the way, if you have questions throughout this presentation, put them down in the comments. My friend Eric's here. He's helping me film this today. He's going to relay your questions to me, and I'm happy to answer them throughout this. It's cool when these are interactive and I'm not just talking to myself. Makes this a lot better. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the typical customer journey today, now that we are living in the age of the customer. So today, if I need something, sometimes I just know because I've already needed it in the past. I've had good experiences and bad experiences, but a lot of times I've never had to hire a company to do a certain thing. For instance, if I just bought a swimming pool because it was 2020 and I can't go anywhere, well, I've never installed a swimming pool. I don't know how to do that. Well, I bought a swimming pool, but now I got to put it up. And so what am I going to do? I don't know who does that. The typical customer journey in that kind of situation is they either are going to ask their friends for recommendations. Where are they going to do that? Probably Facebook. I think we've all seen those posts where people are looking for recommendations. And then typically like 8, 9, 10 different people pop up with their recommendations. And you might have one company that seems to be mentioned by 3 or 4 of them. And guess who gets your first call? It's probably that company that 3 or 4 people mentioned. That's how this works. That's the customer journey. The other thing people do a lot is they Google it. So we get on the Google machine and we type in pool installation near me and we see what comes up. We're actually going to go through that journey several times throughout this presentation today. You'll see how this kind of works, but that's it. I mean, it's not like I went to the catalog of pool installers and looked to see what everyone's ads were. It's not like pool installation companies magically knew that I just bought a pool and could show their ads to me on Facebook. This all happened because I was looking for customer reviews. That's how you show up. A while back, we needed our carpet cleaned because we've got 4 kids and an ungodly number of pets, and it just stunk. Our house just stunk. But the previous carpet company we used was expensive. It didn't seem like they did a good job, so we wanted to try someone else. So we did what pretty much everyone does. We went on Facebook and we said, who do you guys use for carpet cleaning? And when we asked that, a couple people mentioned Extreme Clean, Absolute Clean got mentioned a few times, and so I checked them out. Here on this page, you can see Absolute Clean, which is right here in Springfield. We're going to talk about some local companies today. You can see that they do pretty good. They have 5 out of 5 based on the opinions of 84 people. Not bad. Like, seriously, that sounds pretty good. But the first thing I'm seeing when I go to this page is, well, Rob Rue recommended them. I know Rob. Scott Griffith recommends them. And Dana, I know all these people who are recommending them. Guess what I'm going to do? I might reach out to Dana. I might give Scott Griffith a text and be like, hey, we're getting our carpet clean. What'd you think about Absolute Clean? And quite honestly, I don't even need to do that because I can read the reviews right on my screen. That is peer-to-peer recommendations, and Facebook makes this easy because they know who you're friends with. Google makes this easy because you can see what your friends are recommending. And so this was part of my journey. Another friend of mine asked the same thing. And I thought it was interesting that even after people recommended both Absolute Cleaning and another company, which we're going to talk about today, which is Perry's Window Cleaning, she was so encouraged by that experience with that company that not only did she probably go and leave a review for them, but she got on Facebook and literally thanked the people who recommended that company to them. Why? Because people naturally want to share their good experiences. When we're treated like gold and we know that one of our friends would be treated just the same, we look for opportunities to share that. It's like we're the cool kid who has all the keys to the castle. We want to share that kind of stuff. My hope for your small business is that you get to that place. You can be the carpet cleaning company in Springfield that everyone talks about when someone's looking for a carpet cleaning company. And there's nothing sexy about carpet cleaning. It's like, that's some blue collar work right there. And nobody's necessarily interested in carpet cleaning. They might not even want to see videos about it. It's not what you get on Facebook to go look at. But when you need a carpet cleaner, you need a carpet cleaner, and those reviews are going to matter. Customer reviews are important for a number of reasons. I mean, yes, they're advertising, but it can actually do so much more for you. And I want to run through some of those things that those reviews can tell you. Number one, they're going to tell you more about your customers. You're just going to learn about what they care about. What are the concerns that they have? What are they expecting from you? All that comes out if you read into what they're saying in their reviews. They're going to tell you whether your stuff is good or if it sucks. And you can get all bent out of shape if they tell you, well, this was not very good. Understand that it was a gift. Most people who aren't satisfied don't say anything, and you have absolutely no understanding that people actually aren't resonating with this part of what you do. So it's nice to know when things fail. And it hurts. You might feel a little defensive at first, but man, they're giving you something incredible. They're giving you the opportunity to correct something that if they thought it was wrong, I can promise you probably 10 other customers thought it was wrong and didn't say something. Those reviews might tell you how people see you in comparison to your competitors. That's good to know. You always need to know your unique value proposition. It's that thing that makes you different or better than your competitors. And I promise you, if you got enough reviews, you're going to know what it is because people will tell you what it is. And maybe it's not what you planned it was going to be, but that's all right. You just need one thing that makes you stand out. They may give you advice that helps you hone your marketing, may help you massage that experience that you give people because you realize, oh, this is what people care about. Maybe for that carpet cleaning company, their people came in and they were dressed nice. They put covers over their shoes. And maybe you didn't think that was that important, but it seems to come up in every other review. Well, guess what? Now you know what to talk about in your marketing. You talk about the professionalism of your people, the care they take to not make a mess of your house. And then finally, they may tell you what's not there. They may tell you like, hey, this feature would be super nice, or I wish you guys did this. If you're not all the time asking people for their feedback, for their reviews, you're never going to know this stuff, and you're just searching in the dark for what works. By the way, if you have comments, if you just joined us, leave them down in the comments field. My buddy Eric will pass them along to me. A while back, we were looking for some new activities for our kids. We looked into horseback riding. My daughter said that was boring. We looked into soccer. My daughter said that was boring. And then we looked into karate, which she also said was boring, but it still gives me an example to use here. So when we were looking into this, this was my journey. I typed karate classes near me because I wanted to see who in Springfield was offering karate classes. I was watching Cobra Kai on Netflix like most of you were, and I wanted to see who had Cobra Kai skills here in Springfield. So what you see on your screen here are the results when I typed this in, And I just want to kind of walk you through what most people's thought process would be as they're looking at these results. First of all, you see several companies that have a 5-star average. That Nintai Dojo, 5-star average. Excel Martial Arts, 5-star average. Valence Martial Arts, 5-star average. You would think that those would be the number one things that people click on first. You might be wrong, because even though they have 5 stars, they don't have that many reviews. And you might actually be surprised to know that 5 stars, by and large, people don't trust 5 stars as much as they trust a rating that's somewhere in the neighborhood of 4.2 to 4.6. That's not me just saying that based on a hunch. That's research, like legitimate, peer-reviewed research that shows having some negative reviews actually helps your credibility. It actually helps you make more sales than if you had just a 5-star rating across the board. And that's especially true when you don't have very many reviews. Why? I don't know. I think people are just generally mistrusting, and we all know there's such a thing as fake reviews. So to have some negative ones in there, and especially ones where you can see how did this company resolve those complaints, actually makes you a safer bet than that company that didn't have anything negative on their feedback.
Good question on here. It says, what is the best way to ask for reviews? Would it be through email at the end of the transaction, pass out business cards to ask for reviews on Zillow or Facebook?
So the question is, what's the best way to ask for reviews? And listen, there are a ton of ways out there, and I don't know that there is a best practice. I have not come across any research that says this way always works better than another way. My advice is pick a way and keep trying and testing. I think just in general, making this a part of your conversation is going to go a long way. When you're interacting with people, to me, best practice is when they are at their happiest, that's when you need to directly ask them. If you just hand them a card, they might not ever look at the card. If you're writing them a letter, a lot of us throw mail away. We don't even read it. I would say at whatever point in their customer journey that they are the happiest, it's at that moment where I'm literally going to ask them, would you leave me a review? I don't even want to say like, if you're satisfied, if you're going to leave me 5 stars, leave me a review. I would say ask everyone, leave me a review, because as I said, like, people's negative experiences are really valuable for me as well. So let's just use us, for example, at the SPDC. After the first meeting we have with someone, people are generally excited. And it might be tempting to say, hey, go leave us a review after this 1 hour we spent with you. But after 1 hour, we haven't even really had that much of an impact on someone's business. But let's say someone spent 3 meetings with us, and now they've started their business. They've got their first customer. They're excited. That's probably peak moment for them to go leave a review about their experience at the SBDC. And I need to know that. I need to have some sort of trigger that when someone's coming in for their 4th meeting, and I know it's because we are finally finishing up checking off all the boxes to start a business, I need to make a little mental note to myself, ask them for a customer review. And so whatever it takes for your business to remind yourself to, in that very moment when it's ripe, when they're at their happiest, ask them. People tend to do what they're asked. I think we worry too much about, well, what if they say no? What if they are defensive about that? I think I've seen research that says about 80 some odd % of people, when you ask them to leave a review, will be happy to do that. But we don't do it because we think it's awkward. It's not awkward. So back to my karate example. You got one business on here who has 16 reviews and no one else has more than 4. And even though their review average is 4.7, that's right in that sweet spot where they've got some reviews that might tell you a little bit about things that maybe could go wrong. That makes you actually a little bit more trustworthy. And the fact that they have 16 compared to everyone else's 4, man, that goes a whole long. So that goes a long way. So let's drill down and look at their 4.7 rating, where that's coming from. So see here that they have 16 reviews, and I've sorted this to show their lowest rating first. And they really only have one low rating. They got a 1-star review from one person who just said trash. And that is a troll. If all you got was the word trash, and I'm a potential customer thinking about putting my kid in karate classes, and I go look at your negative reviews and the only one I see is something that says trash, let me ask you, what would you think if you read that? I'll tell you what I think. I think that person's a troll. I mean, they wrote trash, but didn't put any details about why they think this company is trash. And yet all 15 of the other people were perfectly happy with this company. So do I believe that this company is trash? No, I do not. I believe that there's a lot of people out there who are keyboard warriors and just like to cause a problem. And we all know that. We all know it exists. But even if that was a legitimate complaint, if I would have gone on here and seen, okay, well, this is the worst that could happen, I still might choose this company because I just believe 16 people more than I believe 4 people. Because the next lowest review is just 4 stars with no details. Everything else literally is 5 stars. That's why Storm Mixed Martial Arts is probably going to grow faster than these others, because we live in the age of the customer. And that's where people are talking. They're talking about Storm Mixed Martial Arts more than they're talking about all these others. It's the name of the game. You could be a much smaller company who's newer, but if you do a better job of getting customer reviews than everyone else, guess who's going to win in the end? It's going to be you. And that's where small businesses really should be digging in, and they're not. They think it's all about how good we are at teaching karate, what our facilities look like. It's all these little things, and I'm not saying those things aren't important, but if you do all those things right but nobody talks about you, you have a ceiling on your growth, because that's how marketing happens today. It just is. So let's say you do all these things right and you've built this tribe of people who love your company. You are going to start seeing your business take off. Here's what's going to happen. First of all, you're just going to get repeat business. When people are happy with what you're doing, so much so that they're happy to tell people about it, they're going to come back to you, assuming you're the kind of business that gets repeat business. Obviously, when this happens, when more and more people are talking about you, you're going to make more money. You're going to have this whole group of people who do your marketing for you, which is crazy. I mean, you can drop a lot of money on marketing, and believe me, I think you should spend money on marketing. But imagine having 20 people out there who are basically like volunteer labor for you. They are your marketing managers, and you don't even have to pay them. That's what happens when you have loyal fans. Anyone who thinks about entering your space, if I'm a karate instructor and I know that I've got to go against this one company that has 180 5-star reviews, I might think twice about going into that space because I feel like somebody already owns it. So this is a good defense mechanism, having all these positive customer reviews, this customer loyalty. And then lastly, it is just constant feedback that helps you get better. So this is like this snowball effect. When you get good at creating people who are loyal to your company, who talk about you, business is just going to get better and better and better, and it's going to get better at a much faster pace. So I think one of the biggest questions that we get here at SBDC is, how do you respond to a customer review? Or even do you respond to a customer review? So let me answer that first one, or that last question first. I think that you should always, always, always respond to every single customer review, even if all you do is say thanks, because people are paying attention. If they're going to take the time to leave you a review, they're paying attention to whether you're actually even going to read it and respond to it. So to me, it says a whole lot about your company if you don't even respond to the nice things that people say about you. I mean, that's ridiculous. Those people are giving you a huge gift when they leave you a review, whether it's positive or negative. The least you could do is reciprocate with a nice little thank you. I would take that a step further and say more than just say thanks. Like specifically engage them. It's a chance to ask them for even more feedback. You can find out more about their experience, or if something they said raises a question, it's a chance for you to reach out to them, maybe even over the phone, and say, tell me more about this. Tell me more about why you enjoyed Chad coming out to your house so much. What was it about him? Because I would like to reward him for that. People pay attention to that stuff. What about the negative ones? Man, I know what it's like when you get someone who's ticked off at your company and they're telling people publicly about something bad that they think you did. Oh, that's soul crushing, because this is like your baby. And of course we think we don't do anything wrong. And sometimes we don't do something wrong, and that's undeserved. So our natural reaction is to get very defensive and freak out that we got a 1-star review. And my advice is to take a deep breath, maybe even sleep overnight on this before you respond to it, because how you respond is so important. What a lot of people do is they have a gut reaction and they're combative. They come back with, well, this is how it really happened. You didn't do this. We offered this and you didn't do this, and you're a jerk and you're a troll. That's really not the right way to respond to most negative reviews. The other option then is just to be humble and to somehow find a resolution where that person wins. And sometimes that means you take a loss. Sometimes that means you take a piece of humble pie. Sometimes that means you swallow your pride and you know they're wrong, but that's okay, because you understand the win is not satisfying this grumpy person. The win is everyone who's going to read your response and think, man, that company handled that really, really well. And I know that if something were to happen, if they're working with me, they would take care of me too. That's the win. It's not about that one person, even if they're wrong. It's not about them. It's about what people are going to read through your response. And that's where negative feedback is such a gift, because I think a lot of people are like me. It's one thing to read positive reviews. Like, I'm not going to buy anything on Amazon that doesn't have more than like 4.5 stars. I don't read the positive reviews. I actually read the negative ones because I want to know what's the downside, what's the risk. And if I do have a problem with this company, are they going to make it right? Are they going to treat me right? So when people leave negative comments, man, that is so helpful. Number one, it could tell you something wrong with your company you need to fix. But two, it's a chance to show people how you will treat them. Responding in general, it gives your company like a human voice. Companies can just be this cold thing. You sound like a company when you market. When you make a Facebook post, it sounds like a machine wrote it. That's not the way to do business. I would say, especially if you're a locally owned small business, you want to have a voice. You want your customer to be, or your company to sound warm. And when you respond to your comments, that it does that. It makes you feel like a real human behind the name of that company. Let's say that you are getting ready to sell your house and you need to get stuff cleaned up. You need your driveway power washed, you need your windows cleaned, and your gutters have like plants growing out of them. Again, I'm going back to this customer journey. So what do? I don't know anyone that cleans gutters. Maybe I'll ask my friends on Facebook, but probably what I'm going to do is just get on Google and I'm going to type in gutter cleaning near me. And so that's what I did here. In the picture, you can see the results. We got a couple ads. I tend to just skip right past them. Most people do as well. That's not to say you shouldn't run ads. You will get business. If you spend money on ads and you target right, it should pay off for you. But percentage-wise, most people will skip past the ads and they're going to look at the rest of the results. So here, this is a real life scenario. I see Perry Window Cleaning has 4.9 average with 72 reviews. That sounds pretty high. And then the next one has 1 review, 4 reviews, 17 reviews. So already you're seeing this huge discrepancy where one company in Springfield has way more reviews than every other company. Perry Window Cleaning, what is going on? And not only do they have like 72 stinking reviews, but it's a 4.9. That's crazy high. I mean, that's to the point where, like I'm saying, you don't want it to be too high, but they have 72 reviews. So I'm at least going to give them a click because they are so far ahead of everyone else on this list that I have to check them out. That's the position you want to be in. You want to be so much better at your competitors at getting reviews that they almost feel like they can't compete. Like Perry's got Springfield on lockdown. And probably if you're listening to this, maybe you've heard of Perry's and you know why. So let's look at them a little bit closer. So as we said, 72 reviews, 4.9 average. One thing I'm seeing here, if you were to do this yourself, the owner of Perry's Window Cleaning responds literally to every single review. That's what I told you. That's what we should be doing. This most recent one was just 3 days ago. They said great service. Sadly, they are so good that they are booked up 6 weeks out. Well, that's a powerful thing to hear from a customer. I mean, that's the kind of thing that I'd probably want to say about myself. And I would pray to God that one of my customers would say it about me so that I don't have to say it myself. And that's what this person did. And their response wasn't just like, hey, thanks. It was, thanks. We could use more employees for sure. Thanks for your patience. So it's actually like they showed humility, saying like, we recognize it sucks. You got to wait 6 weeks. If you know someone who's looking for a job, send them our way. So it's admitting that we don't have it all figured out. We're not perfect, but also we're very, very grateful that you would take the time to leave a review. And just by responding, you're telling people that that is the case, that you are grateful that they left you a review. Next, the only negative review I could find on this Perry's Window Cleaning was this one here. And they said like it was mostly good stuff, but they left a couple of things that they thought could be better. First, they went around and there were some water drops on the glass still left over, and he had to use a cloth so that they wouldn't spot afterwards. And the tracks, like the windows that they slide on, they were kind of clean, they just weren't completely clean. And so I'm sure even this guy thought, hey, I'm nitpicking a little bit, and he gave him 4 stars. I mean, he only took 1 star off. And he put photos on there. That is a gift. Please understand that's a gift. Because maybe you didn't realize, oh, my people aren't cleaning those tracks off well enough. Or maybe we're not cleaning the water off the windows well. So response from the owner, Doug, thanks for the review. The opening windows to brush out tracks is an extra charge. Okay, so now if I'm reading this as a customer, I understand he was right. They weren't completely clean, but maybe that's because you didn't pay that extra charge. So now I feel a little bit better. It's part of our pure water clean system, and you should have left the drops to dry. Okay. As an owner, that tells me maybe we didn't communicate that. Like, hey, don't worry about those drops. It's actually fine to just leave them because of what we use. That could have solved that issue. And so it really was valuable to hear that feedback. Even if the company itself didn't really do anything wrong, if there's drops left on it, it's not going to hurt. It's actually fine to leave them. But he didn't blame that customer. He didn't say it in any sort of negative way. It was perfect. If there were any errors, as we are human, we guarantee our work and would have come back for free to correct it. Hope you will use us again. That is risk reduction. It's showing people like, hey, even if we screw up, and sometimes we do because we're human, we will come back out for free and fix it. That's what we want. We don't expect companies to be perfect. We just expect them to fix problems when they occur. And your customers will tell people if that's true, and how you respond to your customers will tell them. So that's kind of it, guys. Yes, you got to do all these small things well, but if you don't get people talking about you, none of that stuff matters. It just doesn't matter, because some other company is going to come along and their people will talk about them. They're going to be the ones that get ahead. So what's the call to action? I think you need to find a way to start asking people to leave you reviews. It has to be a part of how you conduct your business. If you're not sure how that looks for your company, please understand we've got a dozen small business coaches here at SBDC who are ready, willing, and able to sit down and talk with you about a strategy that will work for your business, because what works for one kind of business isn't going to work for another kind of business. That's where it's really helpful to have that custom tailored approach. That's why we hire business coaches. I mean, you can get on Google and search this stuff, but maybe you can't find the exact thing that will work for your business in your town, giving your competition. That's why you need a human. So this stuff's free. So many people think, oh, it's great, but it probably costs something. It doesn't cost anything, and it's there for you. We don't really have a waiting list. So to me, like, hey, it's kind of dumb to not take advantage of these great resources. So that's it. Hopefully you found this useful. This is the kind of stuff when you meet with an SBDC coach, we talk about this for an hour every 2 weeks or so. Man, you will get so much further in your business if you just take that time to step away from your business to work on that business. It's so important. So important. So thanks for tuning in, guys. We hope to do even more of these presentations in the future. If you got a topic that you'd like us to cover, put that down in the comments box as well. Happy to answer your questions. And if you're watching this after the fact, please know that we're going to go back into the comments and answer your questions, even days after this. So, all right, guys, thanks a lot. Take care.